Hey, how's it going, everybody? Greg here with RC Driver. It is a very exciting day here at the workshop. Want to know why? You can probably see why. Got the Axial Racing SCX10 II 2017 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited CRC ready to run in, and I am very excited to run it. I've been running our XJ for a long time now, and I just love the truck, so I'm really looking forward to getting out there with this truck. It's got a couple revisions done to it, and obviously it has this cool new Jeep Rubicon body on there, and it looks really exciting. But here's my problem. I'm so excited about this rig, I can't just bring myself to do another table unboxing of it. I gotta do something different, and I've been racking my brain trying to figure out how I could show you guys this cool rig and what it's all about. And then this video popped up in my YouTube feed. It was Rodney from Axial Racing, and he was telling his story about the 2012 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon doing the Rubicon Trail. What he said at the end of the video gave me a great idea. Here, check this out.
We didn't have any failures of any parts on the trail. Again, SCX10, flawless, like out of the box. Like Brad just did a general check of the vehicle for the trip. There was no upgrades added. It was literally pulled out of the box, put the battery in it, go do the Rubicon. That's really the Rubicon Trail story. It was a lot of fun, and I'd like to see you guys get out there and document some of your own trails in your own backyard. You know, maybe they're one-day adventures, maybe they're two-day adventures, three-day backpack, you know, travel alongs. Maybe you guys got some UTVs. This is just our story to share with you so you can be inspired and share some stories back with us and join in the Axial adventure spirit and you know, go have fun.
And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out and have an Axial adventure. I thought, what better way than to do what they did there in that video for the 2012 Wrangler Rubicon. They basically just brought it to the trail, dumped it out of the box, threw some batteries in it, and they did the entire Rubicon Trail to prove that that truck was trail rated. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out to one of the local trails, and I'm going to dump this thing out right there in the parking lot, throw it in a charged battery, throw my backpack on, grab some water, and go out for a hike. What I'm going to do on that trail is I'm going to stop at random intervals, and I'm going to tell you some of the features of this rig. You know, maybe if I find a cool section to crawl over, I'll tell you about the new Nitto tires on this thing. And then if I find a neat scenic overlook, I'll tell you about the new body and all the details on it. So you're going to have to watch this entire video to find out all the details on what I think about this new machine. All right, guys, I'm here. I'm in Kent, Connecticut, and Bulls Bridge is right over there. It's a pretty well-known spot here in Connecticut, and just past the bridge, there's some awesome trails that actually lead over to the Appalachian Trail, and that's where I'm headed. So I'm gonna get this thing together, literally just take it out of the box, throw the batteries in, and I'm gonna start driving, and we're gonna make an adventure out of this. First stop, the scenic overlook. Let's check out the new body. So the 2017 Jeep Wrangler body looks awesome. I mean, the pictures online just do not do this body justice. And I don't know if this video is going to do this body justice. It looks amazing in person. You just really have to see it. But one of the things you got to notice right off the bat is the CRC inspired hood. It looks really cool. I love the details on this. The decals on the hood really make it stand out, and it looks very custom from the start. Now down over here, as you can see, the grill is cut out. And yes, that is a faux radiator behind the grill, and it's a really neat detail. I can see a lot of people taking the radiator out and maybe detailing a little bit just to make it pop a little bit more. But what you also get here is you get the headlight buckets, and as you can see, it's got LEDs in there. We have LEDs behind the marker lights as well. So it's got a really cool look to it. Then coming over here, we've got the CRC inspired Fender Flares. They look great. They're a little bit flexible, so if you're up against the rocks, it should flex a little bit. And then we've got the CRC inspired running boards here, and what's really cool is the body sits down in this channel right here in the running board, and what that does is it prevents the body from chattering. So that's a really nice addition to this vehicle. And some additional details here, we've got some mirrors on either side. We've got the CRC inspired front bumper here. It looks really cool, but it works really well with this rig. All right, let's just check out the back. Hopefully I don't have to drop this thing. Okay, so here is the back of the body, and once again we've got another CRC bumper back here. Again, it matches the front. And then what's a really nice addition is we have these taillight lenses, and as you can see, it comes with LEDs and they're already lit up. What's really nice is underneath these fender flares here, the mounting of these fender flares have little tabs on them to help run the wires over the wheel well so nothing gets caught up in the axles or anything like that. Axial paid a lot of attention to detail, but enough of the body. We got to see this thing in action. I'm going to head over to the trailhead and start now. So I decided to stop and take a break at this beautiful location here right along the river. It is pretty awesome. I've been here for like 5 minutes just checking it out, drinking some water. But anyway, I thought this would be a great time to stop and talk about the tires and wheels on the new truck. The truck comes with licensed Nitto Trail Grappler tires in their S30 compound, and they're a very good tire. They've worked pretty well so far. We have a lot of mossy rock here on the trail, and so there was some tire spinning. I did have some trouble getting up some of the steeper rocks, so I had to find an alternative route around some of the obstacles, but didn't use my hands. So far the truck has been working really well. So the truck does have KMC machete wheels. They look really cool. They're a glue-on type of tire, no big deal. We haven't had any problems with the tire coming off the bead at all. They're glued really well, so no worries there. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what is coming up on the trail, so I'm gonna head back out. It couldn't climb that. So far, this thing has been so much fun on the trail. I can't believe some of the things that it's done. There have been these like massive clumps of roots coming out of massive trees, and this thing is just going over the roots that are exposed on the ground. There were a number of rock obstacles that this thing just flew right through, including some of those gaps that you probably saw in the video there, and some of the inclines that it did. It was just incredible. It did a great job. There was a bunch of rock that didn't have moss on it, and these tires really worked well. But anyway, I figured right now would be a great time to stop and go over some of the other things happening in this truck. And one of those things I want to talk about is the new transmission. Obviously, a lot of people saw this. This is a new design for Axial, and it's kind of got a lot going on here. First off, it kind of looks like a transmission bell housing. Pretty neat look to it. It's got the gear cover on there to protect the slipper clutching gears and everything. And then inside is the big deal. There are now metal gears throughout this entire transmission. No more replacing plastic idler gears or the main gear. Inside the transmission, it's all metal now. It could take the abuse that you're gonna throw at, which is really great. I'm really excited that Axial stepped up and did that. Now, the one thing I kind of questioned was, the all plastic gear case. There is no more metal motor plate, which was nice on the old transmission, but I'm sure that Axial has figured out a way to make sure there is no flex there. And the motor doesn't get that hot that I don't think it's going to cause any sort of problems there. But it was odd to see it gone, but I'm sure it's going to work just fine. Anyway, the transmission goes down to the wild bore drive shafts, the AR axles, which we're used to seeing. They're a great setup. You're of course aware of the metal links that are now on here, the 4mm heavy duty metal links, much better than the old plastic links that were on the original SCX10. Not to knock it, I've got a couple of trucks still running plastic links. They're a little bent, but they still work really well. But this setup works great. It's got the pan-hard bar up front with the 3-link in the front here. It has the chassis-mounted servo. We saw that when the SCX10 II was released. Much welcome addition here. And as you can see, the battery is located up towards the front to get some more weight over the front wheels. Helps you get up those nasty obstacles. Over here, we have the waterproof receiver box. I tested that out, as you saw, across one of the streams there, and no problems with water getting in there. On my previous SCX10 IIs, didn't have a problem with that. You can kind of see these two little pigtails hanging out on the speed controller. This is the new AE5L speed controller, and it now has the wires for the LEDs coming right out of it. No more separate little electronic board to stuff in somewhere. Now it's much easier to have these two little pigtails hanging out. And then the speed controller, of course, it's got the forward, reverse, LiPo, nickel metal. And it is waterproof, which is nice. Got the 35 turn brush motor. Now out on the trail there, it's a little bit faster than walking pace, but it's got the torque necessary to climb the obstacles. It definitely had the power to pop it up over some rocks on the trails out there. I found that really handy. So it is a good motor. A lot of people run that motor, so it's a great motor to have. We've got oil-filled shocks here, both rear and front. On the new shock hoops, we've got adjustable body mounts, of course, and then of course the steel frame rails that Axial is so well known for. Those are standard equipment here as well. And overall, it's a great looking trail truck. The only thing I noticed so far that could be a negative on this vehicle is the body now sits in these channels, which is great. It holds the body from chattering. But I did roll over a few times and it popped the body out of that channel and it kind of sat there all wonky. So I kind of go and tuck it back in just so it looked cool while I'm on the trail by myself. But hey, it's got to look cool, right? So anyway, I'm going to throw the body back on, head a little deeper into the woods, and then make my way back. Let's go. So I'm back from an amazing day out on the Appalachian Trail. I don't know where to start because I had such an amazing time there, and I'm not sure if it was because the truck worked really well or because it was just so much fun being outdoors in nature and seeing just all the different sights that the trail had to offer. But I think that's what Axial was trying to get at in their video that I showed you the clip of in the beginning of this video. They want you to get out there and explore more than just an RC car. They want you to have an experience. They want you to really have an adventure. And when you put everything together that I experienced today, it was really something, you know, I'll probably remember for a long time. It was a lot of fun. This machine right here pushed me to go outside and enjoy nature beyond what I'm used to doing. You know, my family and I, we go on short little hikes on little trails here and there, but this was a real like exploration where, you know, I was going into trails that I've never been before on a really well-known trail that a lot of hikers go on. So it was just an all-around cool experience. I really saw a lot of cool stuff out there. There was deer passing in front of me in front of the trail and squirrels and stuff like that. It was towards winter time, so no birds or anything like that, but just sitting there alongside the stream, going up over some of the rocky terrain and stuff. And I met a few people too, which was pretty cool. And seeing the shelters, there's just so much stuff. You know, I could just see myself talking about this trip for a long time. But, you know, this video is about the truck too, and so I do need to talk about this rig. No surprise, this truck was just awesome out there on the Appalachian Trail. I didn't really expect there to be any problems, and there wasn't any problems. You know, like I said before, I've been driving the XJ for a long time, and just I don't think I've broken a single thing on that vehicle, so I didn't expect anything to happen here. And this thing really just motored through everything that I put it through. And now performance-wise, the steering worked really well, even with the stock servo. Everything was stock, even down to the servo horn. No problems with the servo horn stripping out. I mean, I'll probably upgrade that first. That's a common upgrade for people to do. But the steering actually worked pretty well. I didn't really encounter anything out there where I needed more steering or to even pull it out of some of the rocks. Like I was in some tight V-gaps on some of those rocks out there, and I was still able to wiggle the steering around and get it through those different obstacles. So I was actually pretty impressed with this stock steering servo. It did really well. The suspension, the articulation was pretty awesome. I had this thing on some pretty wild angles. There were a few times where I did have to actually go and grab it. There are some steep hills and steep ledges out there on the trail that actually lead down to the river. And there was about 3 times I got up on this wild angle and it actually started to roll, and I thought it was going to go down into the river. Luckily, I was able to grab it. But the only other times that I did have to put my hands on it is I did roll it a couple times. It landed on the roof. Since the roof is flat, it just kind of turtled itself there. And so I did have to go flip it over. You know, there's no winch. You know, I was out by myself, so, you know, the little hand of God action wasn't such a big deal. But other than that, I was out there on the trails, I would say, for over 4 hours. I didn't have my app going on my phone, but from what I could tell, I was definitely out there for almost 5 miles. However, reading some of the hiker blogs that I researched before going out on the trail and the points where I was at on the trail, it may have been up to around 6 miles. So I ran this truck for at least 5 miles, I would say, right out of the box on one single battery pack. It was a 5,000 milliamp battery pack, and I was out there the entire time. I did have a spare with me, didn't need to touch it. Radio batteries were fine. So, I mean, that gives you an indication right there of what this truck is capable of. Taking it out of the box, installing a high-capacity battery, and going and having fun for over 4 hours, around 5 miles. That's just an amazing RC adventure right there. Now, one of the things I didn't mention out on the trail is it does come with that package of random parts and stuff like that, like all Axial kits do. These are extra parts from the parts trees while they're building the truck. But one parts tree that isn't on this truck that I think should be on this truck is this tree right here. This is the door handles, the hood latches, and the wipers. You know, it would have been nice to see these come on the rig from the factory, but you know what? This is an RC model. Take, a few minutes and put these on yourself. Make the truck look even cooler. And of course, you can go and customize it yourself. There's so many hop-ups out there for this vehicle. So much cool stuff on Axial Racing's website. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had so much fun creating it. I'd like to thank Axial for setting me up with this truck, and it really opened my eyes towards, like day hiking. I'm actually looking into purchasing more stuff for day hiking, new backpack and jacket and shoes and stuff like that beyond what I have right now. So I'm into it. I'm really into it, and I bet if you get one of these trucks, you're definitely going to be into it too, whether you're just the casual crawler, maybe you're a comp crawler, or you're someone looking for a new fun way to day hike. This is the way to do it. All right, guys, if you haven't done so yet, please click that subscribe button, throw the video a like, and if you have an Axial adventure, tell us about it in the comments section below.